Welcome back. Well, there's no doubt the Portress is going to be rocking tonight because Port Adelaide fans flocking in there in their thousands for the big clash with Sydney. Let's go to the boys headed by Dwayno once again for a quick preview of what should be an absolute clinker of a game. Dwayne?
Sandy, should be a rip. A couple of finalists from last year, of course, and they've both got great forward lines, Port Adelaide and the Sydney Swans. Got a couple of the greatest forwards of all time with me, Dermot Brereton and Jonathan Brown still. Guys, this should be a rip of this game.
Looking forward to a real good hit out here. The Swannies, Brownie, you're going to have a look at the way they line up here. But
they've won 4 out of their last 5 against Port Adelaide, so they'll certainly be pretty excited about this matchup. The Swannies are out. Here's their lineup. Big one, a big in is Jared McVeigh, the captain, comes back into the side. And the interesting one, Adam Goods named as sub. So maybe he'll become the super sub from this year. So going to be very interesting. Lance Franklin was terrific last week. And Isaac Heaney, the early draft pick from the Sydney Academy, who kicked the winner last week. He's an exciting one for all the Sydney fans.
The boy can play. Port Adelaide, I reckon last week that they'll be a little disappointed with their game style. It takes 2 to 4 weeks at the start of the season for every club to bed in their true game style. They didn't get that automatic play on and completely and utterly fatigue their opponents, Fremantle. I reckon they'd say to themselves as they're coming off the ground, we left a little bit in the tank. We didn't put it all out on the field. We have to run our opponents off their legs in this match.
Have a look at that. Have a look at that atmosphere there. That is
amazing.
If you haven't been to a game at the Adelaide Oval, whether it's a Port Adelaide game or an Adelaide Crows game, it is phenomenal, that atmosphere. They're about to sing Never Tear Us Apart as well. They'll do that before the bounce of the ball. And they put on a great show on and off the field, the Adelaide Crows and Port Adelaide right now. Get over to Adelaide Oval and get amongst this if you can. It's
been one of the great transformations of a club that was, well, probably almost about to hand the keys in 3 or 4 years ago, weren't they, Dwayne? And now they're one of the powerhouses of the competition. It's great to see. Obviously, Adelaide Oval has been a big part of that.
They have the great basis of a team for quite some time. We look down that spine. Carlisle, Tom Jonas can play at centre half back, but he's also got Homsch there sitting in the back pocket. Hartlett even finds his way out onto a wing. Schultz, Westhoff, who can move around now, and in the ruck, Paddy Ryder as well.
And Jared Redden they've brought in to support Paddy Ryder. He had to carry a big load of the ruck last week against Sandilands and Zach Clark for Fremantle. Ran out of steam a little bit as the game wore on. Of course, Matthew Lobie, their first choice ruckman, is not there. So Jared Redden should help Patrick Ryder shoulder the load, and hopefully Ryder will be able to go forward and kick some goals as well.
Going to be really, really interesting because in the last, I suppose Essendon did it for 3 quarters, but the last 2 times Sydney have really been beaten up by Hawthorn in the grand final, Fremantle the year before that in a final. There is the key to unlock Sydney. Now, I reckon Port Adelaide know that, and they have the goods to unlock that key to Sydney. Will they bring it out here today and try and bash them up on the inside?
Well, certainly Essendon did last week. We commentated that game, Dwayne, and Essendon were way too physical for Sydney in the first 3 quarters. It was very un-Sydney-like, but they have got form, as Dermy said.
And these are arguably the 2 big contenders that could take it away from Hawthorn this year. There's David Koch on the boundary line. He's been fantastic in the resurrection. But these are the 2 big ones. Port Adelaide nearly beat Hawthorn, obviously, in the prelim final last year. The Sydney Swans ended up getting to the grand final and couldn't quite match it with Hawthorn. But this could be a pivotal game for both teams to find out who the big contender to maybe knock Hawthorn off this year is.
Well, it keeps mixing up, doesn't it? Whoever's the #1 contender at this time of the year might be #2 contender by the end of the year. But, gee, you just have to bank wins. And if you come up against one of these top 3, top 4 aspirant teams, you've got to inflict some mental damage as well at the start of the year.
So who wins?
Well, I think Port Adelaide win. They've got you nailed it on the head there, Doomy. They've got a really tough start to the year, Port Adelaide. Their first 5 is a horror run, but they've got 3 of them at Adelaide Oval. So if they can come out and they can win tonight, win a few early ones, they might be all right.
Port Adelaide to put the crash helmet on, bang in hard and run them off their legs.
Get the ball bounced, Sandy, if you can.
Good on you, Dwayne. We'll check that the crash helmets are on and we're just about set to go. It's Who's going to join the winners so far today? The Bulldogs were big winners, the GWS Giants were big winners, and the Adelaide Crows were also emphatic winners. And it comes down now to Port Adelaide and Sydney. As I said earlier, the Suns and St Kilda are on 5:03 if you want to keep an eye on that one as well. But here we are at the Portress. Toss of the coin about to take place with McVeigh and Boat. Let's head to the Portress now for what should be a wonderful night's entertainment.
Heads is a call. Oh. It's heads. Heads.
These guys inadvertently have become responsible, Das, for the lift in pre-match entertainment here at Port. They started it all, and it's because of this song, really, isn't it?
That set the trend for what we're looking forward to this year in the AFL, and every other club has been told, get on board. Koshy and Port Adelaide have set the agenda for this, and it's a great feature. There's 50,000 here, and they get right behind this song.
And we haven't seen the last of the Farris brothers. Obviously, they're special guests here tonight. You can see Sydney a fair income about this. They got away with a win over the Bombers last week. But the Farris brothers are now heading down to the cheer squad end of the ground here, led by David Kosh. They're going to jump the fence, and they're going to join in this Never Tear Us Apart with fans.
They're going to sing the song?
Yep, they are indeed. They'd heard about it. They'd heard about all this stuff with Port Adelaide. They've never seen it live. This is the first time they will have heard it or seen it live.
You're going to have to wrestle the mic off Koshy. He's not giving it up in a real hurry. He looks
pretty happy
very
with it at the moment. And I'm pretty sure the fans have no idea what's about to happen. But Koshy's going to introduce it. Well, a big welcome to our Adelaide fans here at the Adelaide Oval. And Port Adelaide fans, naturally, we're about to hear the Farris brothers belt out a tune with the Port fans. Never Tear Us Apart. Former members of In Excess. Tim and John Farris, and boy, the umpire's just gone bang in the middle. The Farris brothers aren't even off the ground yet. The umpire's throwing the ball up. Talk about a lack of respect for In Excess, Das.
They're away. Port Adelaide go forward. Electrifying atmosphere here at Adelaide Oval. And taken by Hanbury at half-back. Wobbles one in the Franklin direction. Buddy's got to contend with a couple. He says, that doesn't worry me at all. And they ragdoll him to the ground. Gary Rowan keeps his feet. Kennedy's a star. Look at the composure that man shows. Over the head of McVeigh back in the side. Ebert gets back hard. He's got some run from the skipper out there in Boak. How does it sit? He's going to take on Dean Towers. Back inside. We know this is the style of Port Adelaide. They like to run and gun, although corralled nicely here. Wingard got to use all of his best. In fact, mate, that was empty back there at half-back, and they've got some space here on centre wing.
Okay, I'm not sure that Johnny Longmire hasn't called for a head count out there with the Farris brothers involved, but anyway, here's Jeddah in the middle of the ground. Electric atmosphere, as you say, Das. It's on here at the Adelaide Oval. 50,000 fans in here. They love their footy. They love their team. Alapati Carlisle, I love his name. An opportunity here for Jonas. Crashes through the pack. Got the little handball off. Holmes goes wide. They're a class team. Mead's got one in the back.
Well, it's a frenetic start. BT, a lot of pace on the ball early. First time we've been able to draw breath as callers.
Mead trying to get it over the top. I believe we've got a replay coming up shortly of the goal umpire. Terry's telling the Farris brothers in no uncertain terms, get off, fellas. It's time for the game. It's not about you. Here's Ollie. Did a little 360 around mid-air. Here comes Richards. Rush through behind under the pressure of the best and fairest in Robbie Gray.
May have missed an opportunity there. You can see Robbie Gray. He had space on Nick Smith on a little hit-up lead. wasn't seen, went long to the goal square. May have missed a chance there, Port Adelaide.
What a year Robbie Gray had last year. Voted by the coaches as their player of 2014. He was an All-Australian, the best and fairest winner, kicked 40 goals.
Got a great record last year too against the Swans in his 2 games. He had 35 and 36 against the Swans.
Rampy searching footy to half forward. Hamish Hartlett got a fist on it. Mike Pike, the big Canadian, tried to force it forward. Now, this is Redden. What a good story that big man is. Didn't play a game at any level last year. Serious knee injury. And great to see him back out there. The big ruckman. Short ones on from Westhoff. Now the run provided. Pushing forward. Couldn't quite get there, Broadbent, out of bounds.
OK, let's have a look at the goal umpires. Just telling the Farris boys, hey, fellas, it's over. Move off, fellas. Mr. Goal umpire, come on. This is the Farris brothers from In Excess. Music royalty, Richo.
To be honest, John Farris gave him donuts then. Didn't he?
Boak ridden into the ground. Kennedy out the back door. An opportunity there for Wines. Couldn't quite control it. Hanbury to Rampy. Rampy just backing up. Says, which way do I go? He's forced to go down the line. Now Mike Pike here. Jackson Trengove did well. Over the line, out of bounds. We'll throw it in.
Yeah, Rampy is getting back as a loose player at the moment, so it's not easy going forward for Port Adelaide. He's trying to just fill the hole there, make it hard as Port go forward.
Intense game last week, Lingy, with Port and Freo. It's on again here tonight.
Absolutely. Straight away, both these quality teams into the action. So sharp in a contest, though, Port Adelaide.
They like to get this man Lingy on the outside pole. That kick was a little too tall there for Ryder. Wingard having to try and get around Grundy. Now they'll apply some pressure and keep it inside 50, Richard.
We know Kane Corns plays a negative role, and he's on Dan Hanbury tonight. Hanbury coming off the ground now. Corns comes off with him.
You can see the Swans have put a work into getting numbers back around the contest, trying to corral. They've pushed a loose back at this stoppage. I think Rampy, you can see in the goal square at the top of your screen. Polak did really well to get through some traffic. Wingard's a clever player. One-step kick to the goal line. There's the loose man back. Teddy Richards gobbled up.
It's not going to be easy to get through because Rampy is loose, and down the other end we've got Jonas loose for Port Adelaide.
And Lingy, what about you? What are you particularly looking at this game? What fascinates you about this game here tonight?
Well, I always love the midfield battle, as you know, BT, but I loved what Sydney did at that first bounce. It's almost like they sensed the occasion. They pushed all their forwards up to the back of the square and left Buddy deep one out and said, try and defend Lance Franklin down there. Port Adelaide are going to have their hands full.
Smith to Jetta in the middle was nice and easy. Jetta goes wide to McVeigh. Didn't play last week, back in the side here tonight. Goes a long ball looking for Towers on the lead. Just couldn't get there. We'll throw it in. Deep in the Swans attack zone.
1 minute, Kurt.
Coaches tonight. 2 cool customers. See the crowd here. Average 50,000 in their night games, 48,000 in their day games here, Port. So they like to come out at night. Redden with a little handball there. And once again, the boundary line relieves all.
Having a look down at the Port Adelaide forward line at the moment, their deepest 3 forwards are Travis Boak, Chad Wingard and Robbie Gray.
And Kennedy.
Very dangerous if they can get some transition happening.
So get a good look at the big boy here in Jared Redden. 205 centimetres, he's 107 kilos. Said some real doubt as to whether he'd actually play another game of football again. Great to see him back out there. They hurry this kick to half forward, and Rampy, quality one-on-one defender, is the Ramp. Happy to see no one out of bounds.
There's those forwards that you're talking about, Richo.
And Robbie Gray is a man who gets 35, 36 possessions regularly, but he goes forward and kicks goals. He's just about the best player in the comp at the moment.
You just can't wait to see it go in there quick, can you?
Yeah.
Wines. Here's Isaac Heaney. Played an important role for Sydney in their win last week. Jack was collected high.
Kieran Jack.
You can hear Jacob Mollison, the umpire, and he's accompanied tonight by Matthew Nichols and former AFL player Lee Fisher, who's been doing some big games this year. Great to see. He's in good umpiring form. And there's the little high tackle from Ebert. Yep. See his uncle, Russell Ebert, was the Hall of Famer, was here tonight, presented to the crowd in a big way, and boy, do they love him. Here's Buddy. Another one they love. Not necessarily here, though. Driving ball, Tippett. Couldn't get hold of it in the end. Boak
Didn't have the clean hands. Probably didn't want him in the end, otherwise he would have been pinged. Kennedy shovels the ball out. Tip it now with a little handball. Hanbury had to go and get it. Ebert a hopeful kick around the corner. They're still under pressure here, Port. Can they cope with it or not? Reid went and got it, caught in the tackle. Ball spills loose in the pack. Now an opportunity to go forward again here for Sydney. A one-on-one there with Rowan. Pittard did well. Little handball over the top. He needs help. It's not done with yet. Jonas has taken it back into the field of play. Jackson Trentcove must get rid of this. He must get rid of it or he's gone. He did in just the nick of time. Heaney crashing through. Boak with the tackle. The pressure's on. Gary Rowan thought about it. Buddy from the impossible angle. Kicks it out of bounds on the full.
Impossible angle, but we have seen Buddy kick goals from that pocket. He loves his right leg out to the boundary line. He's kicked some great goals at the MCG, up at ANZ Stadium last year. He kicked some great goals running to that boundary line. He kicks those regularly.
Just tell the Sydney Swans have put a huge amount of preparation into the way that they're handling this play-on style of Port Adelaide. They're going to have to be careful coming out of defence not to get trapped. They worked it nicely. This is Ollie Wines, the young star, in his 51st game. Richards couldn't get clean possession. Out the back now, this is Jake Lloyd.
Well, Buddy's one out now if they can move it quickly. Jonas is trying to get back now.
McVeigh has had a calf injury. First game for the season. Pittard gets back and he's going to sweep this one through the middle of the ground. Dangerous ball, but sat well for the vice-captain, Ebert. He plays on with a little chip kick over the top. Schultz, so nervously but competently working the ball forward, except for this one, although it's just got there to Kane Corns, the game's record holder. This year will probably knock up his 300th game and be the first Port player in history to do it at this level. Monfries through to Pollack. Quick little kick. Now they're on the march. Hartlett's got it, wants to go, didn't get back far enough from the man on the mark. Kicks a high ball to Gray. He marks but out of range. Wants someone to come. No one did. Umpires called play on. Into the pocket. I'm not sure that was the play.
Yeah, it probably wasn't BT, but he didn't have any options in the corridor, so he's probably better off getting the ball out of bounds. They can set up now and get a stoppage inside 50.
I think they used to last year, Port Adelaide, with that sort of play, they normally get a man through, but the Swans, look at the numbers around 8 around the contest and only a couple of power players inside forward 50, so the Swans are really getting back in number, defending hard off hands. Isaac Heaney in his second game, that young man there on screen, talented youngster Richard.
Spot on, Dar. So many Swans numbers. They're really getting back at the moment. It's going to be tough to score in these early stages until they find a way through both teams.
Interesting move, Lingy. We just had a look at Adam Goods, the starting sub tonight.
Yeah, we certainly expect him to come on and have an impact at some stage, but I wouldn't have thought he'd started in the green vest too much in his career. I don't think he'd like it, mate.
Are you surprised by it, Lingy?
I am surprised. I love to see the best out there, and I still think Goodsy is one of the best. Great pressure by Port Adelaide, forcing Buddy out on the full there. Gee, this has been a fast-paced game early, but we shouldn't be surprised by that, given Port Adelaide and Sydney 1 and 2 last year in percentage of mark play on. So both teams are going to look to move the ball as fast as they can whenever they get the ball.
Just back on the Goods thing, though, Lingy. Does it particularly mean anything about this year and his future?
I don't think we can read too much into it too early on in the season, other than they may be looking to try that throughout the year, see if he can come on and have a big impact as a sub. It's the sort of one that you don't really want to have that big an impact, because then you get used as the sub time and time again. But I think they'll start him at times, and I think they'll use him as sub at times throughout this season.
I think it's probably a smart move to get him through a 22-game season, BT. If you start him as sub every third or fourth week, it'll probably preserve his body as the season goes on.
Ollie Wines there. Paul got tangled up with his feet, so
it's probably either that or have him have a rest every 3 or 4 weeks. You're probably better off using him as a sub.
Yep. Capable of coming on, kicking a goal, providing some runs, so why not? Kick forward, big attempt over the top from Wingard, couldn't quite pull it in. Reece short of Rampy with a little ziggle and a wiggle as well, if you like. Richards now up against the boundary line, kicked it straight into Ebert's hands. He gives it off, Hartlett's there, he wanted the free, picked up by Corns, lightning hands, tried to tap it on Ebert, nothing there. Now Laidler with his second touch of the game, and Teddy, was it deliberate?
Throw it in. I'll take it.
Fans think so, umpire says no.
Yeah, it's a fast game. Neither team can get control of it, but neither team can score either because of those numbers back. It's a game of chess at the moment.
Yeah, real arm wrestle, Richo, to start this one as Ryder got over the top of Pike. Didn't quite get clean possession, was broken. Comes out, and Trengove did really well, out position, and was too good for Towers. Alapati Carlisle with the footy. And now Polak wants to get onto his left foot, got around McVeigh. An up and under job from Polak. He's found a lot of the footy, and they like this situation, the Sydney defence. The high ball really suits them. And big Mike Pike got back, and he covered it.
And Darcy, you guys mentioned the fact they're playing with the number behind the ball. That's why they're able to cut off that high ball. But it's also why Sydney are having trouble moving it out of their defensive 50 at the moment, because Port Adelaide really well set up behind the ball. They've got a spare as well. So at the moment, both teams' spares having a bit of an impact.
You can see Paddy Ryder in the ruck there. Mike Pike got back into the hole. Ryder has to find a dangerous position and hit up with the footy, try and draw a mark in there.
In the back, Jack, Sydney.
Can't let Mike Pike go back and take uncontested marks. He's either got to find a dangerous spot or get in there and make it a one-on-one on Pike.
So just time to draw our collective breaths here. There's just a step down in intensity, just momentarily, I'm sure. Sydney working at the back line. Port happy to have it locked in there. Just waiting for that error. Grundy here. McVeigh trying to find a way through, trying to create some run. Lloyd, game 23 for him. Jack, the skipper, thought about going onto the left, eventually did, but there's the mistake. Can they go quick? Yes, they can with the Buddha volley wind. There was no one in the goal square. He had to go wide. Wingard had to spoil Smith. Smith really stood up to the pressure well.
A short one to Craig Bird. Once again, even on the quick play, the Swans are able to get in good position to defend. Grundy kicks long down the line. Tippett gets his massive frame.
And now Franklin's one out.
And that's where Tippett's going to go, Richo. Holmes has got the tough job one-on-one with Buddy. Did really well. Pittard, first man back on the scene. Happy to see it over for a boundary throw-in.
I'll tell you what, at the moment, if you get a mark 60 or 70 out, you just have to wheel as quickly as possible before the loose players have a chance to get back. Nearly came off that time for the Swans.
So now into the defensive numbers with Port Adelaide Ryder in front of Pike. Buddy, we know how capable he's at ground level. Pirouetted, out of trouble, back on his left, centering ball. Schultz was in the box seat there. He's pushed all the way down from half forward. Finds Monfries. He started as the sub last week. Wants to work it to Broadbent. He's going to take them on here, Broadbent. The big boy Red back into the side. Oh, great effort, Rowan. Leg speed.
On the ball.
And
Sydney
was
free.
rewarded.
Hold there, Matthew. Stay out, thanks,
Deservedly so. Gary Rowan's chase down Richo was outstanding.
Yeah, we know he's a fast player and he used it to full effect there.
That's what you want to see blokes with leg speed use it for, don't you? Just a few of those rundowns, just to put some doubt into the opposition's mind for the rest of the game now. Is that speed coming and going to chase me down?
High tackle, go through, Sydney. High tackle. Sydney, high tackle. Sydney, high tackle.
So that'll be a Lloyd free.
Lloyd, yep.
Against Polak, got him high, as you heard umpire Matty Nichols say. And it's a fair call. Buddy calling for it long and over the back.
And that's all he can do there. There's absolutely no space to lead into, as you can see, for Franklin. He just wanted it long.
Yeah.
Get a contest at the top of the square.
Incredibly defensive game at the moment, Richo.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Really tactical game. As Dar said, you can tell they've both put a lot of homework into this.
Yeah, they have. No goals, but fascinating battle so far.
Which plan unfolds first? Jetta around the corner. Paddy Carlisle got his little pinky on it.
He nearly misread that, Paddy.
Because it had a lot of draw on it, Richo.
He'd have drifted. Bit of Shane Warne drift there.
So, no goal scored. Just under 8.5 minutes remaining in this first term. Fascinating contest to get your head around at the moment. Carlisle's got to go long and slow down the line. It's not their preferred method, Port Adelaide, but they've been forced into it. This is Jonas got back there to Ryder, athletically got around Reed, and then a real up and under job. Good luck with that one. Corns did pretty well. Jarman, Impey and Heaney. Jack got through to Kennedy. Now it opens up to Jetta. Opportunity here for the Swans. Reece Shaw's kick to Buddy. Worked underneath the footy. No free kick doing. McVeigh back in the side. Clever little toe poke to himself. What can Jared McVeigh do? Flying shot was partially smothered. Ricochets back 30 metres out. Rowan comes through. big, hard footy to be won here, but got down low. Jetta will pick it up. He's a clever player. This will be the first goal. It's taken 16 and a half minutes. The Swans get the first of the night here at the Adelaide Oval.
Well, just perseverance. There was nothing pretty about that goal. It was just a scrap inside forward 50. They kept at it. Nobody gave up on it inside that Swans forward 50. A snap around the corner. What a fascinating 13 minutes we've had of game time to get that first goal. Lewis Jetta, what a great finish. Quality around the corner. Well,
Thanks, Jared. Just the rocks. Thanks, Dan.
So you can see Jetta hooking the ball around there and liking his work. Josh Kennedy had to wait for the high fives to come because Jetta was admiring his own work. Port Adelaide free here, go to the big fella Redden. Immediately off to Gray. Sold some foot candy, very nicely done through the middle of the ground. This is a better kick. Here they come, an opportunity for Schultz. Couldn't get it. Monfries over the back, driven just a little bit forward by Teddy, who was rather careful there. Bird, Richards, Jetta, looked for a way through Jetta. Had the real fast, dynamic hands. Now an opportunity with Smith out wide. The kick as well, I think it was from Bird in the end. It was pretty ordinary. And taken by Pittard. Pittard just backward of the wing. Low-scoring affair, under 7 remaining, just the 1 goal kicked Sydney's way. Umpire rightly called, should have called that play on as well. Has now. Pittard wanting to transfer play from one side to the other. Just stepping back here, seeing what he can find. Into the middle they go, McVeigh and Gray. Little soccer, Hanbury committed the body. So did Broadbent. Corns gets it to Gray. Gray to Westhoff. Here they go. They need a clean ball inside. Opportunity for Jakey Need. Gives it off to Jonas. Jonas chisels one. Good ball. Wingard had both hands on it. Couldn't hold the mark. Winds to Need. Need got rid of the tackle once, but not twice. Was forced to kick in the end. Enormous pressure coming from the Sydney Swans here, Das.
Yeah, they're on top at the moment. Nick Smith's chipping ball might come back with some interest. Jonas will he take on the tackler. McVeigh has to go back to Corns, and now Pittard centering footy. Where's Tom will mark it?
It's a free kick, I think.
Block, Sydney.
Yeah, Sam Reid has been pushed out of the contest there. See him on the ground. That was a good kick, though. That was the right spot.
Let's have a look at this one, Richo. It's one of the rules they were going to focus on this year. Are you happy with that decision?
Yeah, obviously. Jay Schultz had no intention to go to the football there. Blocked Sam Reid, which allowed Westhoff to take the mark. That was a correct interpretation.
About 50,000 Power fans right at the moment aren't enjoying it.
Not biased at all.
Just a little one-eyed.
I think that was obvious.
It's a pretty big moment. Trengove claimed the mark. He's been called to play on, and now he's got to get past Bird. To Kane Corns, the game's record holder at Port Adelaide, and now Schultz presents nicely. We know what a good kick this man is, but this is going to take some effort.
That's his bread and butter, Jay, and what he's become so good at is that he will always present at the ball carrier. As we look at that hit, open rib cage there, that hurts. Dan Hanbury, he doesn't take a backward step, but Jay Schultz, that's why he's become a good, consistent forward, because he always hits up at the ball carrier and works hard on the lead.
Kicked a career-high 66 goals in 2014. He strikes that beautifully. Can he get some right to left? What a kick from Schultz. Scores locked together here in the first quarter.
What a great set-shotted goal Jay Schultz is as he comes off the ground, as they often do. He gets beautiful momentum through the ball. He has the same routine every time he kicks. And he rarely misses these days, Jay, and what a great feeling that would have been. They loved him down in that forward pocket. Not an easy shot.
That is just a brilliant set shot kick,
yeah.
Richo, and he started it perfectly, got the absolute perfect draw. Great goal.
Just coming out here, guys.
Have a look at the reaction. Yeah. He motivates them, no doubt about that. Kicked 53 goals, 19 last year from set shots. Has got 2 straight this year. He is a dead eye.
And just makes the most of his opportunities. Jay only needs, 3 or 4 shots a goal. And by the end of the year, he's going to have 60 or 70.
Yep, and he's capable of the big mark as well, Richo, isn't he? He's a bit of a launcher.
Always been able to launch at the footy, but he hits up now, he works hard, and that's why he's become such a consistent forward.
Seems a lot more comfortable here in Port Adelaide than he perhaps was at Richmond, whether that was just an age thing. Hartlett, I think he's gone there, but he's got him. Gives him a little stiffy to go on with as well. And
you've got the free kick.
Massaged his ear there.
Don't give it away, all right?
Buddy was angry just momentarily there, Richo.
Just a little massage of the ear.
Yeah, goes wide with the kick here. Opportunity for Teddy Richards from 70. Tippett got the body in front. It's a big body. Off hands there. McVeigh, little soccer. Now Corns got it all to do. Kane Corns did well, and such a nice kick finding Westhoff.
How's Broadbent down there, Lingy, after that big hit?
Well, he's pretty sore because we know Dan Hanbury's a real hard nut, but he looks like okay. He's moving, just doing a few stretches on the bench. He's keen to get back out there, but that would have hurt.
Some amazing pressure being applied here. The Sydney Swans really have come in with a specific plan. The kick goes to centre wing. Nick Smith won't keep it in. You feel like, Richo, there was a real surprise element to Port Adelaide last year. We hadn't seen a side really just play on and run as hard as they did. Everyone's had a summer to think about it. And I think John Longmire and Sydney have come with a really one-on-one pressure game here tonight.
And so did Freo last week. They stopped that transition football. Port had a lot of the ball, but didn't get a lot of inside 50s.
With a Buddy Franklin working overtime, spills to Kennedy. Opportunity in the goal square for Tippett. He's a man mountain. Tries to get around Trengove. Spills out now to Towers. Kick around the corner. Towers kicks the Swans second, and they lead it by 6.
It's going to be that sort of night. Great finish by Dean Towers around the corner. But you're going to have to scramble for your goals, especially early in this game until it opens up a little. Players get tired. You're going to have to just lock the ball inside 50 and work hard to get your shots on goal. And both of the Swans' goals have come from perseverance, getting after the loose ball inside 50, 2 good snapshots.
Yes, it was a good snap at goal. Well done by Big Tippo. Well, they've got the twin Towers down there in Buddy and Tippett. Now they've got another Towers down there. Mr. Towers. Richo, liking and enjoying the work. Ray, forward Monfries.
Did you, BT?
I just had a little bit of a think about it. Opportunity, Schultz to Monfries, ran out of tarmac, got the Teddy Richards shoulder as well.
Just killing a few hours on the Perth to Adelaide trek was Bristol.
Yes, it was a bit longer than I thought it would be. So boundary throw in here, right at half forward for Port Adelaide. They haven't had really many genuine scoring opportunities, Port, at all. Sydney have mustered a couple, made the best of them as well. Grundy, Jeddah. Nice controlled kick. Heaney got the player on out wide in Laidler. Later needs a good clean run and pick up. He's got that. Need was bearing down, but not free fall. He was able to get the ball to Buddy. Had it in the hands. Then he tried to go straight through Pollack. Pittard, Paddy Carlisle. Got it out the back door. An opportunity now for Impey. Combines with Hartland. They're out of trouble.
And they're held up again, though. Isaac Heaney, his second game. They really are working overtime on the mark, making sure this run and gun style isn't getting the flow that it normally does. Good grab from Monfries.
Great grab. He was running flat out. That's not easy to take. That was a bullet pass. Monfries took it well.
So once again, they've got a kick to a contested situation. This is what the Swans defenders are the best in the business at. Out to Parker. Great to see him out there after a heavy knock last week. Impey. Back to Monfries. Spearing footy. Riding it really well to give a contest. They've got the numbers back there again. And Pike, he just wants it out of his area, the big fella. Hartlett now, Rowan, did well to keep his feet, Hartlett. Normally really effective by foot, and that's a good ball to Pollack. When and how are they going to find a way through this magnificent Sydney defence, stifling at the moment? Corns, one of their superstar players, delivers forward. An opportunity here now for Port and Gray. He's got the foot, he needs a bit of help. Little Shepherd from Schultz got rid of one, but not the other. They keep coming, Sydney. Boak was always under pressure from the moment he got it. Now Corns, a high ball. Here's Richards and Schultz. Did well to bring it to ground. Now Need's got to do it with Laidler at ground level. He gets away. Well done, Need. Need with a little right footer inside outer. Monfries came too close to the footy. And here's Mike Pike. Just wanted the boundary, as Dar said, just get it out of my area. And I'll be happy. Lingy,
Yeah, boys, you asked about Matty Broadbent. I thought he was okay. He came back on the ground briefly, but he's just headed up the race. So he's obviously very sore after that collision with Dan Hanbury. Maybe ribs, not exactly sure, but hopefully he still takes part in the game.
Yeah, nice work, Lingy. We'll get an update on that. Matty Broadbent down the race, and the Swans clear it out of half-back. We've got under a minute remaining in the first term. They'd love to pinch one here. Port Adelaide. Alapati Carlisle got it to Monfries, and again, all the numbers at half-back Sydney's way. Ebert did well. Managed to get the footy off Parker, but Rampy, look at Buddy pushing all the way back to half-back. He wants a piece of it back there. Overlap handball, and now they get some run through Towers, who's quick in the middle of the ground. He's given it to someone that's quicker. Das, watch him turn it on. First, second, he didn't need to get the third and fourth, and he just chiseled it from 50. Brilliant play by Jeddah. With a quarter of a minute remaining in the quarter, Jeddah was able to kick his second and the Swans third, Richo.
Oh, yeah, that was just a bad turnover at half forward for Port Adelaide, and they had some overlap out wide. Jeddah found himself on his own in space. Have not seen that yet in this game. A player with that much space and time, and that's the man you don't want to give it to.
And Richo, it was because Robbie Gray made that really hard decision in football. Do I go and leave Lewis Jeddah free and go and try and put pressure on his teammate, or do I stay with him? He chose to go. The handball went over his head, and that's why Jeddah ended up free. Robbie Gray was trying to cover another Sydney player.
I think Ken Hinkley will be really looking forward to getting down at quarter time, just settling this group. They've got a great challenge.
It went out, no one contested it. I have to.
Mike Pike's been good this quarter. He's got back into that hole. He's had 5 possessions. He's winning the hit-outs as well, but he's getting back and clogging up that Port 50.
So the umpire there, recalled bounce. Kennedy got in and won a good footy bird. 5 seconds remaining. Monfries, Kidar there, trying to force their way forward, but the immense pressure from Sydney has been unbelievable in the first quarter. Big Buddy's got the strut up, BT. It's been a well-prepared Sydney Swans and John Longmire, and they'd be feeling pretty good here at quarter time.
Oh, indeed they would, Das. Great quarter of football, intensity high, finals like, no question. 50,000 in the house here tonight. Kenny Hinkley going down to address his charges. Quarter time, Port 117, Sydney 3-1-19. Port fans ignited by the appearance of the Farris brothers here, in excess members of course Music Royalty, and there are the scores at quarter time. Been a very defensive game indeed. The Swans doing it really nicely, 3-1-19 to Port Adelaide 1-1-7.
Attention please. Watch movie after movie, episode after episode of the world's most popular shows. Get more choice. Go to presto.com.au for a free 30-day trial.
Sydney by 2 goals. Lingy, you're out in the middle.
Well, I am, and just listening to what Kenny Hinkley was having to say to the boys there, I reckon he's going to be pushing the clearances hard. He's going to be pushing his midfield to really improve in there. 12-2 Sydney were up in the clearances in the last 25 minutes of that quarter. They've got to fix that up. Josh Kennedy, Kieran Jack leading the way for the Swans. The interesting stat too for me at quarter time was pretty much even in possessions between the two teams, but Sydney 280 more metres gained. Most of that, Lewis Jeddah, over 270 metres gained by Lewis Jeddah in that first quarter. They'll need to put some time into him, stop him damaging throughout this second quarter.
Yeah, really interesting tactical game on our hands tonight. It's a very different Sydney Swans who've come into this contest. They haven't allowed Port the space that they've had in recent times here at the Adelaide Oval, and it'll be the youngster Redden. Tippett didn't really get off the ground. Kennedy's so clever. Lingy mentioned the clearances, and they go forward again. The Swans are on top in that department in the first quarter. Out came Buddy. Kick around the body. It was Towers who got it long, and getting back and reading it really well was Jonas on the full-back line.
So it was Port that started with the 5-man forward line and rolled Broadbent was the one that was loose back inside their defensive 50.
Little 2-on-1 there, but did well to back out of it, Impey, or to hold it up until the troops arrived. Gee, that was tough. Umpire explaining his decision there. Fair enough. Towers now goes inside. Another opportunity here for Sydney.
There was only one throw up around the ground in that first quarter. Both teams had over 120 possessions. Just gives you an idea of how frenetic the pace was without any goals, but that's tiring. There weren't many chances for players to have a spell.
One stop, or one ball up on the ground.
Yeah, 16 boundary throw-ins, one ball up.
Ball out wide here.
So it didn't stop much, BT.
No, it was going red hot pace. Substitutes there. Matty White was a bit of a surprise for me, and of course Adam Goods as well, but both wearing the vest tonight, the boys.
Well, White will be handy because if any of the pace goes out of this game later on, he can really inject it for Port Adelaide.
Absolutely. He'll be head and shoulders above the rest from what he showed here in a normal game. There he is, ready to do his work.
Matty White, he's been a great inclusion for Port Adelaide. Goal kicker, high half forward.
Yep, kicked 25 goals in a career high last year, Matty White. Really great runner. This is the area that they really want to start getting back on top in Port Adelaide. Around the clearance situation, we saw 8 of the last 10 clearances had gone the Swans' way. And in a game where it's so tight, so one-on-one, Richo, that's going to be a big factor.
It certainly is. Matty White's got flames tattooed on his ankles.
What for, Richo?
I think that's why he runs so quick. Right?
Oh, come.
I think it's helped.
Redden got a fingernail on it, and then once again they're held up really well. Boat tried to force his way through, couldn't get out of the contest.
Sorry, that's really disciplined work here by Sydney at these stoppages. They're really blocking well for each other. Everyone's going out of their way to block for Hanbury, who's getting tagged by Corns. Team effort at the clearances, that's why they're on top.
Push in the back.
And they won it again, Lingy. And Towers, only his 8th game of AFL footy, starting to find a bit of it tonight to Reece Shaw. He goes short, not his best kick. Made the challenge a little harder on that occasion, inside 50E, but having to fight hard with Kennedy. He did pretty well, the vice-captain, to get it across the boundary line.
Jared McVeigh hasn't missed a beat coming back in tonight. Missed round 1, 11 disposals, had the 10 kicks, the 1 handball. Jared McVeigh at full forward at the moment. You can see him there, the right of the screen.
Just strangling the game, suffocating it at the moment. Sydney doing such an outstanding job with their tactics. Polak needs to try and open them up. Here's an opportunity for Ryder. Really has basically been unsighted in terms of possessions in the game. Cut that one out. That'll be a throw.
We're coming off half back. It's a free kick here to Ryder.
No, against
Ryder, sorry. Yeah. Coming off half back, you cannot kick the football at the moment. You've really got to try and run and carry as we see that throw. You've got to try and run and carry with hands, because if you're kicking the football from half back at the moment, it's just going to come straight back with the loose player.
So run and carry.
But that's easier said than done with the pressure the Swans are putting on.
Yep.
You know, they're putting that much pressure on players, have been forced just to kick it straight back.
They are a very professional outfit, Sydney, and, you know, if Port are going to take the next step, they've got to beat sides like Sydney, Hawthorn, Fremantle, don't they?
They do.
In the run here.
Tough first 2 rounds for them.
But it is a tough start to the year for them, actually. Port, they've got
Hanbury's cop one there.
North, Hawthorn, Adelaide to come. Here's Kennedy. Tip it on the way now. 60 out. Nice ball. Cut off in the end by Alapati Carlisle.
Yeah, he did well there, Carlisle. And
there's a bit of claret coming out of the back of his head there. He's
pretty slow to get up. Hanbury. He copped a decent whack in there. Now through the corridor. This is more of what we're used to with Port Adelaide. That kick was ineffective. Just feeling the pressure at the moment. Reid was a little just tentative below his knees on that occasion. Coming the other way was Jake Need, and now Impey tried to hurdle his way through over Reid, who was lying on the ground, and he couldn't do it. As Hanbury, there you go, there's the claret.
Yeah, gee, Robbie Gray, just a bit of friendly fire. That doesn't tickle. With the knee right in the back of the head, glancing blow. Gee, might be a couple of stitches or staples in that.
Boys.
Staples, and I think a bit of hemorrhoid cream there.
Yeah.
Accidental, but you can see that Dan Hanbury doesn't stay down unless he's felt Some severe contact. Again, they're just finding it hard around the clearance situation here, the Swans. Kennedy got it back to Smith. Now it opens for Wingard. Can he bowl? Reid off the footy. Grundy, Parker in a tight situation. Looping handball. He's going to try and wrap up Shaw. Rowan, they did well to get outside 50, but it's going to come back.
Oh, it was good pressure, Darsh. You're right by Port Adelaide then to force the turnover.
The Swans wanted to keep running with the footy, but they couldn't. They had to kick it, and it goes straight back to the opposition.
Schultz was uncertain about what to do with the footy from there on, but it was a great passage of play from Port.
And BT, the reason why he was uncertain is Sydney are just getting all of their players back inside that defensive 50 whenever Port Adelaide win the ball back at that 70, 80 metre mark. They've got nowhere to go, no space to work in at all at the moment.
Bird underneath all of this, Polak on top, Jack, fast hands there. Inside handballs tonight, Sydney. Just the little flick ones have been sensational under pressure. And look at the space. Look, all the players in basically one portion of the ground.
And the last player back there is Trengo for Port Adelaide. So if the Swans win it here, they don't want to force a kick out because it'll go straight to him. Port will get another chance.
Nullified the noise, the home ground advantage to a certain degree here as well. Gray to Boak, immediately tackled Impey, tries to go back here to Ebert. Little kick, kicked it into the back of Alapati. He had to really commit his body and dive on the footy. Kennedy's handball. Now they're copping a bit of their own medicine here, Sydney, but they're good enough to escape. They get it out to the wide, to the man with wheels. It's Jeddah. He gives it on to Rampy, likes to kick it on his left. Now they go with one-on-ones. Buddy's there, but in front is Rowan. Rowan takes the mark. He wants to go. He's got the overlap player running on the outside. Didn't go with that. It was Lloyd in the end. Now an opportunity for Heaney. Thought about the handball. Right foot banana, Richo. You saw him and I saw him on the outside.
Yeah, unfortunately the wrong decision was made there. Easy to say from up here, but Jake Lloyd had run really hard and presented a little loopy handball, or wait till he ran into space. He would have had either a mark inside 50 or he could have run in and had a shot at goal. But pretty easy to say from up here. The pressure is unbelievable out there at the moment.
Yeah, Ken Hinkley's take out of last week's loss to Fremantle was that they didn't handle the pressure situations well enough. As Rowan goes up, took a nice mark. So we want to get better at that. They're going to get some opportunity tonight to handle pressure. Rowan's going to spear this one Buddy's direction. Looks like he let it go.
Buddy was standing there as we look at this mark from Gary Rowan. Buddy was standing there and he had space in front of him, he had grass in front of him and he was pointing to it. He actually didn't want to lead. He wanted Rowan just to pop the ball over into that space and then he would be drawn into the football. Unfortunately, he had to lead in the end because Rowan waited.
Yeah, the Swans kicked 7 last quarter goals last week to overrun the Bombers. It was a 34-point deficit. All of them were created from pressure and they really ramped it up another level here in round 2. Now what can Robbie Gray do? We know he's a talent. He had a little jump and tug, I thought, from behind. The umpire was blindsided. Rampy competing hard. Hear what the crowd think. They saw the jumper ball and then the short one on. Ryder got some space and it's the first time we've really seen open ground inside 50 and Robbie Gray was good enough to hit the target.
Yeah, that is exactly what he's got to do. So we have a look at the free kick here.
Thanks, guys.
To Robbie Gray. He's in the ruck at the moment, Paddy Ryder. Redden is off the ground and he went inside 50 and presented on the lead. So fantastic.
Paddy Ryder now yet to kick a goal for Port Adelaide. Just the 12 possessions on debut for Port last week. Didn't have the benefit of a pre-season game. He'd love this. It'll bring the house down. Ryder. He's slotted it right through the middle. Ryder kicks his first for the Power.
Have a look at this. Every player is going to get to Paddy Ryder. What a great feeling for him too. A little bit of relief there. He's come to a new club. He wants to perform well. So to get that first goal just eases a little bit of pressure, makes him relax into his footy a little bit more now. He's going back to the centre, feeling good about himself as his teammates come around. What are we going to do here? Ollie Wines having a chat to him.
Oh, Paddy Ryder gets the goal. The noise here, deafening. I tell you what, if your club is playing here at the Adelaide Oval at any stage this year, book your trip, get over here and experience it. It is unique to this ground. Wines, beautiful little handball to Boak. Now they've got the overlapper if they want to use him. Boat goes long and direct. An opportunity for Westhoff. Over the back was Grundy. Rampy to help there. Little handball by Jack was sensational. Reed did likewise. Out of trouble. Now Bird with the long kick to Heaney. Heaney's going to have to go and I think dropped the mark in the process. The umpires paid it. And it'll be Isaac Heaney just back to the wing.
Just a second game of AFL footy. Kicked a really important goal. Crucial stage last week on debut. Hugely talented young player. Great courage. Going back to the flight there was Homps. He's a left footer. He's got a target in the corridor. There's some danger associated. But Schultz was up to the challenge.
Just opening up a little bit here for Port Adelaide the last few minutes. Starting to get a little bit of space.
Good effort from Homps. He took a good mark. He's run hard out to Pitta, but again, they just get hold of in their momentum. Gray, Rampy was really good.
That's a great spoil, Gus.
They're on fire here at the moment. The Swans in terms of pressure. Out wide, sold a little candy. Hobbs was not able to get behind Towers, and Towers hits up Franklin, and Buddy, he's worked hard. Richo hasn't had a lot of opportunities, and he'll be pretty excited about this shot well within range.
Gee, the defensive coach would be wrapped with that. That was a terrific spoil, and he just had too much agility there, Towers. That was not an easy mark to take. That was a floater coming flat out. Franklin could have easily bounced off his chest there.
Chest mark, Richo.
Oh, no, BT, it wasn't spinning.
Kicked 3 last week, Buddy. He's kicked 60 goals plus in each of the last 8 seasons, and the big blood gets the quick reply, and he's first for the night.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy night for key forwards. You're not going to get a lot of space and a lot of opportunities to come out on the lead. You have to make the most of them. I reckon if you're a key forward tonight, there's going to be a lot of 1-on-2s happening with loose players back. You just need to bring it to ground, not let the opposition take intercept marks. And when you get your chance like that, make the most of it, because it's not going to be a night where you take 8 or 9 marks on the lead.
Sydney by 13, Lingy. Do you also sense that the game's just starting to open up a little?
Oh, it certainly is. Port Adelaide just starting to get those few free players, but that fantastic spoil that you guys mentioned before is what set up that Sydney goal there. Really good defensive play then led to a fantastic attacking piece of play for the Swans.
Pittard. Handball's a little hefty from such close range to Hartlett. Plenty of time to mop it up, though. And now Ebert, who's just been a real reliable performer in his 149 games for Port. Kicks down the line here. Opportunity for Polak. Boundary line is there. They've got it to half forward. What happens from here? Let's go down to Cameron Ling at ground level. Lingy.
Guys, just a bit of a coaching point here. This led to the goal. Just Homps there. Instead of defending on the goal side of Towers there, he actually gave him the goal side, and it defended on the attacking side. It allowed Towers to step around, get the pass into Buddy. Just a bit of a coaching point. You can't let that happen.
Oh, every time you hear Lingy pick up some real finesse type stuff like that, you just think coach, coach, coach.
Just think the door's still open there, Brisbane.
Now, BT, did you get another look at that kick from Towers to Franklin?
It was just a chest mark, Richo. And what do you want it presented, lace out to be nice?
That had more outswing on it than Mitchell Stark. That was a hard mark. We'll have another look at that at some stage.
There's Smith down the line with a long ball. Broadbent, I think, just came off the bench then and looks to have recovered. Now, what does he do here? Had the one in the middle, eventually goes for that. Now, an opportunity for Ebert to send it long and deep. From 55 out, no one home. Getting back is Laidler. He was hoping for... Now, was he in contact with the goalpost when he put it through? The umpire said yes.
Now, have a look at this, BT. As BT said, well done by Towers to get around him. Look at this. This is an outswinger. This was not an easy mark to take. No. That was...
Oh, Richo.
That's easy from up here, Brian.
Power deep in attack here. They want to try and create a bit of their own pressure. And Carlisle, really nice mark in front of Franklin. They'll get a repeat forward 50 opportunity through Trengo, but still under pressure though. Kick was affected by Montfrey's lurking. Wingard, look at the Swans' numbers back there. They've been like a pack in defence. And Nick Smith, All-Australian last year, bundled over the line. And a little bit of a reaction there. Robbie Gray too concerned about any of that. So the Power get the chance just to build a little bit of pressure. Gray out the back. Now spills out the back. Wingard's been quiet. He's got the highest quality skills, and there they are on display. Big goal for Wingard.
What a great kick by Chad Wingard. Just let the ball get out the back, and if he gets any sort of space inside forward 50, he's going to finish it off. An outstanding finisher. From any angle, any type of kick, he can do it. He can mark the ball. He can win the ball at ground level. He's just about the complete player to have inside forward 50. How good's that? Can't give him any space at all, Chad Wingard. When you've got Robbie Gray and Wingard around those forward 50 stoppages, you've got a lot of confidence if you're a Port Adelaide supporter.
A 2-goal to 1 quarter here for Port, so just starting to get a bit of access to the footy.
Throw, scooped it up and then hit it out. Port Adelaide.
Momentum swinging here.
Ebert been in amongst most things that have gone forward.
Thanks, Jared.
And here he is again. Kick wide. It's hung in the air a bit for Corns. Gee, Jeddah over the top. I thought he almost infringed there. The umpire said play on. You heard the call. Parker was involved. So was Towers. Now an opportunity for McVeigh. Ignored Buddy on his left. Went wide to Parker on his right. An interesting decision, but it was in the end the correct one, because now Tippett has a shot at goal.
Yeah, nothing Trengove could do there. He was caught one out in space on his opponent, running back to goal, and pretty easy lead for a forward to make, just to double back. And well done, Kurt Tippett.
15 seconds.
Yeah, that chest mark, Richo, they'd have a lot of curve on it. Was it a difficult one, or Bryant right in the breadbasket?
That was straight at him. It wasn't swinging like that other one.
Tippett from just inside the 50. He's got that on line. That is a really, really nicely measured kick. Tippett goals, their second of the quarter, and they lead it by 13.
Yeah, good kick by Kurt Tippett.
I thought it was a really good
Port Adelaide are coming. The momentum has been their way a little bit, but 2 counter-attack goals. The last 2 goals from the Swans to Franklin and Tippett have both been on the counter-attack. Good spoil by Rampy and then Jeddah, and it created 2 goals down the other end. Both on the transition counter-attack. You can't turn the ball over against good teams.
Coming out this side, guys. Something coming out here.
He's an imposing unit, Kurt Tippett, isn't he? And I just feel if he can get a really consistent run at it, he missed the first 7 games last year with that knee issue. Fit Franklin and fit Tippett, and it caused some real damage as they emerge from the clearance again. Kieran Jack's kick well covered back there. Trengove involved. Homsch and Ollie Wines put his big frame in the way.
Great.
Hartlett. Kennedy's pressure was good, and he's forced it out of bounds on the full.
This is frustrating for Port Adelaide, because I reckon they had their little period of dominance, but it didn't amount to anything on the scoreboard because those 2 counter-attack goals.
What a kick from Hanbury. It was absolutely perfect. Almost too good for Rowan. We're disappointed with that. As Gray gets taken, pirouetted around, he was clever enough to get it back to Jonas. But look at the pressure they're working under. Pittard, he gets past McVeigh, and he did pretty well. Finds a free man out there, and that is Jay Schultz.
Schultz turns and sees not much down the field, so has to wait for his players to gather themselves. Handball's off just out the side door to Pittard. He says, I'll help you with the shepherd here. Goes back to Homps, I think it is.
Hold there, Jared.
Well, Teddy Richards is just standing down the line. That's why
Jonas, in fact.
Schultz and Polak haven't wanted to come down the line, but they're not able to switch it either. And Sydney have made territory here. They've forced them backwards and shut the exit over the other side.
So what are they doing here, Rich? They're just trying to spread the defenders here?
Yeah, well, they don't want to go down the line, so they wanted to switch the footy, but Sydney have been really good at blocking the exit over the other side there. You can see Isaac Heaney, he was the one. And it's forced them just to play this possession footy across half-back.
They're going to be very, very careful here. Can't afford to make a mistake. Sydney is sweating on any pressure or any mistake here, and they're going to be all over it.
Well, they started about 80 metres from Sydney's goal, but
this is White, the sub, who's been activated.
He has, just quickly, guys, Jarman Impey is the man who's been subbed off for Port Adelaide. That's why Matty White's on the ground.
Is that an injury or not?
Well, I'm not 100% sure at the moment.
No.
Getting some treatment from the doctors, but I can't see exactly.
Mead goes inside 50, looking for Schultz. That is an interesting move. I just wonder whether it is a medical thing. The doctors, the runners, and everyone is forming a wall of silence there. Well, if he is behind in the red vest.
Well, if he's not injured, it's rare that they'll make a sub this early into a game, so I think that'd have to be a problem.
Yep. Mike, double-handed knockdown. Jacks, Jetta, Kennedy, all fast hands. What about the little gap that Kennedy found a handball through there? Here's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Heaney did well against Broadbent.
Well, you can see the clearances there, guys. We spoke about them at quarter time. That's why Port Adelaide's been able to get a bit of momentum back in this game. 9-6 up in this quarter. But Sydney's clearances out of that 6 have been very effective. They have been sharp when they've won the ball out of it this quarter. But Port Adelaide need to keep controlling that area to give their forwards a chance.
Wingards pushed up to centre wing. He got first possession. And again, the work around the stoppage situation, as Cameron just pointed out, it's a hot footy to be won. Kane Corns.
Thanks, Paul. Come on back here.
Getting involved there with big Mike Pike, and he's had the tagging job, as you can see, on Dan Hannebery. Hannebery's had 11 disposals. Make that 12 now, and he got moving quickly. Beautiful ball to Franklin. He's going to look up, and the only number inside forward 50 for the Swans is a Port player, and it's that man Trengove, and Buddy didn't have the composure on that occasion. Richo kicked it straight down the throat of Trengove.
I think he backed himself to make the distance there, Buddy. A little bit optimistic. We know he's kicked some great long goals, but maybe on that occasion just had to hold it up and try and wait for some Swans numbers to get back inside 50.
He just thought he was going to get it up there and some sort of tornado was going to suddenly take it away.
No, it wasn't. Even for Buddy, that was a little bit optimistic.
Right into White. White already. Here they go. Gray with Jetta. Two guys with great ability by foot. Now Gray at the ground level. Handball over the top. He knew Need was there. He went low. Jack got him high. Let's have a listen. You make up your mind here.
Yep, Joe.
That's a high tackle. And a legitimate call.
He's not an easy man to tackle around the hips, though, is he, Jakey Need? 170 centimetres.
That'll do it. 15 seconds gone.
Umpire's correct. You can't tackle him around the head.
That's fucking weak, Needy.
This suits Jakey Need's kick, or didn't set it up too well, did he? Tried to kick it a little hard. I saw him kick one last week, which he went the soft approach. That was the hard approach, and something in the middle would be nice.
So it's a 2-goal piece quarter. This one, the same margin at quarter time, is what it is now, 12 points. Port, you feel, have just started to get a bit of a handle on how to play the Swans tonight. They're going to have to work hard here. Pike, he just dumps it forward, and the number back there is Pittard, and you can see Horse Longmire. You don't need to be a great lip reader to understand what he was saying there. Big Mike, what are you doing?
Still only had 4 ball-ups for the whole game. It's just
extraordinary contest.
Amazing pace.
Just getting a little bit of space inside the corridor. Wines, and now Need. He's going to get it moving. He's got a lead on from Westtop. He got off Reed, and just opening up a little bit inside 50. Is going to be 50.
Push after it. Hey, he's marked it. He's just pushed him unnecessarily. There's still a push.
Well, you heard the explanation from the umpire. The Port fans love it. Wow. Just the slightest of touches in the back. And that is a massive penalty, Westtop.
It's a fair bit of mayo put on that, but well done. He's drawn the 50.
So a certainty here for Westtop, directly in front. It's an important goal. We're just over 4 minutes remaining in the first half. The Hoff, he'll kick his first from directly in front. We're back to a 1-goal game. The Swans by 6 points.
Well, Sam Reedy can't believe it. But at the end of the day, there was pressure on Hoff's back, and he put a little bit extra on it, and the umpires paid the 50. and they're right back now. It's been a really good quarter. Port have been better in general play this quarter. Just haven't quite been able to take advantage of it.
Just the rocks, thanks. Down this side, Josh.
One goal in it. A little bit of Buddy headwork here. Nice little knock-on ball from Buddy to Parker. Back in the middle, goal in it here. Port are closing. They've kicked 3 goals to 2 in the quarter. Starting to find a bit of space through the middle, but every time they do, this happens. Hanbury can go all the way from here. 52 metres out. Has he got enough? Yes, he has. An immediate response from Sydney.
Well, Dan Hanbury started the game on fire. A little bit quieter in this second quarter. He's been off with an accidental head clash with Robbie Gray. But what a great goal. Great answering goal. And they just can't get any closer, Port, than this 2 goals. Out of the middle. Pike's been really good in there. 28 hit-outs to 12, which has given them a real advantage. Great goal.
Well, we absolutely love Josh Kennedy, and it's the reason. Just extracted that ball, and he's done it all night. He's dominated the clearances on the run to Dan Hanbury, and a beautiful long-running goal. Their clearances tonight have just been so efficient.
Yeah, on cue, Lee, the man you speak of, Kennedy. He gets them going forward again. Couldn't quite clear the head of Jonas. Got back and took a nice defensive mark, looking for Ebert. That one not able to be kept in. Just having a look at Travis Boat, who looks a little dazed.
That last centre square bounce, he's copped a little whack there and went down. I think he's fine. Just maybe winded for a split second.
So Tippett and Ryder. Ryder athletically over the top, Wingard. Ollie Wines thought he might have been taken without the footy. Kane Corns trying to get involved. Boat's back up and smashing back in. He wants a piece of a swan, and look at him go again. Third effort from Boat. Spills out now to Reece Shaw. Normally good by foot. Looks for Franklin. Hodge did well, didn't give away the free kick. Can they get some movement here through Jonas? Out to Monfries. Looping handball. Westhoff was clever. Just batted it back to Monfries. And now Pittard under more Swans pressure. Imdar's need. Tried to turn his man inside out. He's good enough to earn a free kick here.
That pressure from Sydney then was just manic. Unbelievable.
Yeah, they've been good. They've out-tackled Port tonight. 31 to 25. They're winning the clearances 24-16 and the contested possession by 10 as well. If you win those 3 areas, you're rarely going to lose a game.
Jakey needs coughed it up here, and I tell you what, they're all in a position to receive for Port, and it hasn't gone that way. But he's got to beat a couple here. Really well done by Honch in the end, not in fringe. But he gets up and says, I can do it myself. Got it out to Rowan. Rowan goes and goals. Brilliant play, Buddy Franklin.
You called it, BT. Brilliant play. I think he would have been disappointed he didn't mark the football then, Buddy. He got 2 hands to it. He was in a good position, but he didn't give up on it. He fought hard at ground level, and just with strength, he shrugged it off and got the ball out to Rowan. And that all started with a huge turnover on the wing. And 3 of the goals for the Swans this quarter have come from being able to force a contest and turnover and get it on transition.
Well, there's the turnover, Richo.
And here's the strength. 3 on 1 there. And a great finish by Rowan. But well done, Franklin.
Biggest lead of the game, Das, 18 points.
In a low-scoring contest, late couple of goals to Sydney could be telling us Hanbury's really starting to work into it. Look at the gut run from Hanbury. He gave it, he went back. He's one of the elite aerobic athletes in the competition. Got back to Lloyd. Lloyd got around the skipper Boat. They'll go inside 50 again through Parker. And a wobbly right foot kick will be out of bounds on the full. Port Adelaide free kick. So a minute 49 remaining in the first half. It's a 3-goal lead.
Yep, wait.
And a fair bit for Ken Hinkley and his team to think about at half-time. Richo.
They'll keep playing their game. They'll back themselves. They know they come hard after quarter time.
Ryder backed himself. He's turned it over, Richo. And Here they go inside 50 again. Towers has had some moments, opens up here. This could be another goal. Hanbury, he'll get a shot. No, he won't. He'll get it off to Kennedy. Kennedy, a one-step kick. They've kicked 3 in a row, the Swans. Have they? No. It just missed. Nicked the post. And a minor score. So 19-point game-high lead to the Sydney Swans with just under a minute and a half remaining till half-time.
Yet another turnover there from Port Adelaide when in possession of the footy, Richo.
Yeah, it's been the difference this quarter.
And, gee, don't they pounce on the smallest of errors, Sydney. Well, Paddy Carlisle, Monfrey's gone before he even had it. Canterbury was sizing him up from a mile away. Now Gray's come out to help in defence. Fast hands, Jonas. Looked back inside, couldn't go there. Caught, gee, very, very close. The ball was knocked out of the tackle.
Buddy wants it, he's going, that's holding the ball. This quarter, their goals have come from turnovers.
Gray's hurt.
And great defensive efforts by Rampy, and Reece Shaw created goals as well. So
I'm with Buddy there, guys. That was holding the ball every day of the week. He had a prior opportunity, chose to try and take the tackler on. That is holding the footy.
McVeigh. And a shot at goal then from Hanbury. Misses. Let's have a look at that again. Bang. So, yeah, you're right, Lingy. He thought about the handball, pulled it back in, and was it a tackle or was it a bump, though?
I guess Gray's in trouble. He's hurt him, though, Buddy. Unless they're saying that it was knocked out, Buddy knocked the ball out.
What do you reckon, Das? Yeah, I think holding the ball. I think prior opportunity and...
Port Adelaide.
That's the interpretation. If you have any opportunity
to reward the tackler.
Thanks, Josh.
And that is telling Robbie Gray now limping off the ground. And what you've got to love is you've got a 6'6" in the old 198cm Franklin. He is just after the contest like a man possessed, as have been his teammates in this first half. They've been incredible. Matt White is the activated sub. He's on early. Can they sneak one here? 24 seconds. Ryder's going away from his own goal. They're going to have to get moving. Corns will get them to the edge of 50. Strong lead provided by Schultz. He did well. If any man's capable from here, Jay Schultz is the player you want the footy in hand, Richo.
Yeah.
He might have to kick after the siren. He's kicked a ripping one at the other end. It'll test him.
How good was that pass?
So Jay Schultz, the halftime siren is there. They would desperately love to get this back under 3 goals. He's only been goalless once since the first game last year. What can Jay Schultz do? The crowd, you'll get a good look at it. He started it out wide, and he might have even missed a lot there, Jay Schultz. He has, so... Wow, what a contest we've got in our hands here, BT. The Swans have been incredible. Their pressure has been amazing. Ken Hinkley, he's got a lot to think about here at halftime.
It has indeed. A really intense half of football, as you'd expect from these two teams here. Stay with us just before we go to the break. We're going to go down to Cameron Ling, and he's going to be talking with Luke Parker down there, I think. So we'll just wait for Lingy to get hold of him. But Ken Hinkley has got a lot of work to do, a lot to work on at half-time for his team. There's absolutely no question about that. Let's go down now with Cameron Ling.
Well, Parks, it was just a physical game of footy, high intensity. You've got to be feeling it a little bit at this point in the game.
Yeah, definitely. We know how dangerous they are through the middle, and we just really wanted to build our pressure. That was the main thing that quarter. I think we got a fair few turnovers there. Just the repeat entries, we've got to keep that going.
You guys have been sensational. Can you sustain it?
Yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully, we know they're going to come. They're such a hard-running team, and they run out the full 4 quarters, so we can't drop off in any aspects. We just got to keep it going.
Appreciate your time, mate. Been a great game of footy so far. It's the Sydney Swans by 20 points here at Adelaide Oval. And coming up after the break, I'm looking forward to Sammy Lane.
You're watching Jeep Saturday Live on Fox. Great to have your company wherever you might be watching around the land. Half-time at both games, and if you've missed what's been happening so far tonight, we'll bring you all the highlights from both the Port Adelaide-Sydney game and, of course, the Gold Coast and Kura game straight after this break. Don't go anywhere.
It's half-time at the Portress on Jeep Saturday Live on Fox.